Today, we're diving into a world that's all around us but almost totally invisible. We're talking about information systems auditing. Now, I know what you're thinking. Auditing sounds a little dry, but stick with me because these folks are basically digital detectives, and they're the unsung heroes keeping our data-driven lives from falling apart. So let's start the investigation. Think about it for a second. Our entire world runs on data. Every app you use, every online purchase, every single digital interaction, it all relies on systems working correctly. But in this world of endless code and servers, who is actually making sure those systems are trustworthy? Who checks the checkers? That's the big question we're tackling today. And the answer? Well, it's the IS auditor. These are the people working behind the scenes, the guardians of our digital world. They're the ones who step in to make sure all the tech that powers our lives is safe, sound, and doing what it's supposed to. They are, quite literally, the ones who check the checkers. So what in the world is an IS audit? The easiest way to think about it is like a full-blown health checkup, but for companies' technology. It's a formal, systematic look at everything: the computers, the networks, the software, even the people and the rules they follow to make sure it's all healthy and secure. And why does this matter so much? Well, it's not just about stopping hackers, though that's a big part of it. It's way bigger than that. Are companies following the law? Is your personal data being kept private and safe? Can you even access your bank account when you need to? These audits find the weak spots and make sure the answer to all those questions is a confident yes. Now, every good detective story starts with a solid plan. You don't just burst into a scene and start flipping tables. You need a strategy. An audit is exactly the same. This first, crucial phase is all about mapping out the mission. The whole process really breaks down into three main stages. You can see the roadmap right here. It all kicks off with planning, which is where the goals are set. Then comes the field work, that's the real boots-on-the-ground investigation. And it all wraps up with reporting, where the detective presents their findings. Let's dig into that planning phase first. The key to smart planning is focusing on what really matters. Auditors use what's called a risk-based approach. I mean, they can't check every single file on every single computer, right? So instead, they gather intel to figure out where the biggest risks are. Then they create specific tests to hit those high-risk areas hard. It's all about being strategic and putting your energy where it counts the most. All right, with a solid plan locked in, our digital detective hits the scene. This brings us to phase 2, field work. This is where they roll up their sleeves and start gathering the actual clues, the hard evidence they need to figure out what's really going on. So how do they get these clues? They have a few go-to techniques. First, they'll review all the paperwork. The official security policies, the system logs, the rule books. Then they'll actually talk to people, because how things are supposed to work and how they really work are often two different stories. And finally, they'll just watch. They'll observe how things are done in real time. Each piece gives them a totally different angle on the puzzle. And this is absolutely critical. Just like in a real investigation, an auditor can't just go with their gut. Every single finding, every recommendation they make has to be backed up by solid, reliable proof. The evidence is everything. It's what makes the whole thing legit. A huge piece of the fieldwork is basically stress testing the organization's defenses. In the world of auditing, these defenses are called internal controls. You can think of them as the digital locks, the security cameras, and the alarm systems that are supposed to be protecting a company's most valuable information. Now, these controls come in a couple of main flavors. You've got preventive controls and detective controls. A preventive control is like a big, strong lock on the door. Its job is to stop something bad from ever happening. A firewall is a perfect example. A detective control is more like a security camera. It won't stop the break-in, but you'll sure know it happened. And you really, really need both. This right here shows you how it all fits together. See, real security isn't about having one magical, perfect solution. It's all about layers. A threat comes along, and first it might hit a deterrent control that tries to scare it off. If that doesn't work, a preventive control tries to block it. If the threat still gets through, a detective control sounds the alarm, and a corrective control swoops in to clean up the mess. It's this whole team of controls working together that creates a strong defense. Okay, so the field work is done, the evidence is in the bag, the defenses have been tested. It's time for the final act of our story, delivering the verdict. This is the reporting phase, where our digital detective lays out their case for everyone to see. And that verdict comes in the form of a formal audit report. It's a really structured document. It spells out exactly what the mission was, what they looked at, and, most importantly, what they found. It gives the auditor's professional opinion and, crucially, a clear list of recommendations on how to fix things. This report is the whole point of the investigation. The number one rule here is objectivity. An auditor's job isn't to point fingers or assign blame. It's about presenting the cold, hard facts. The report has to be totally unbiased, and every single point has to be backed up by that evidence we talked about. That's what gives the audit its real power. So, from mapping the mission to delivering the final verdict, IS auditors are truly the unseen guardians of our digital world. They give us the confidence to trust the technology that we rely on every single day. Which, of course, leaves us with one last question to chew on. As technology gets crazier, with things like AI and quantum computing on the horizon, what's the next big threat these digital detectives will be fighting for us?